Hello gamers and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be diving into some controversy. Now I normally don't talk about this kind of stuff on the channel, but I think this particular issue is worth discussing. Now before we begin, I am a huge Dragon Quest fan, and I'm really excited for the upcoming Dragon Quest III Remake. I've been so excited for this game, and I'm definitely going to be picking it up as soon as I can. Okay, now let's get into some of the controversy.
Flappin' Flotsam, what's that?
This all began with a recent Dragon Quest III HD 2D interview with former Shonen Jump editor Kazuhiko Torishima, and of course the legend himself, the creator of Dragon Quest, Yuji Horii. They both discuss how they have to essentially censor certain character designs for Western audience, saying, and I quote, "There is a religious concept, especially in America, that influences their approach to sex education, right? This seems more of a little jab at the Christian conservative side of the West, specifically when it comes down to some of these designs." Now this quote in particular is coming from the Shonen editor, who of course has had to deal with censorship in manga, and you know, this makes sense. I mean, you have Japanese culture clashing with Western culture like American culture, and both countries have different views on what children should be allowed to look at when it comes to character designs. And it can go even further beyond that. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of what they might have to censor when it comes to wanting to release their content over to the West. Torishima even goes on to say that doing business with such a ridiculous country is really frustrating. Because of that, Japan gets negatively influenced. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care that much about this part of the controversy. As a Christian, I am okay with giving female designs more modesty. But there is something to be said about how the Western audience can heavily influence games made in the East. Dragon Quest III Remake is rated E10+, which means that kids are going to be able to play this game, so I understand why the West would want more of a modest character design. However, this isn't the first time this design was quote-unquote censored, as Toriyama created one similar years ago. Again, this part of the controversy doesn't really bother me, but I can understand that there is a discussion that could be had about censorship and how different cultures handle their age ratings. Like I said, I'm all about the change of this design, personally. But then again, this game is pixelated and you're not really going to be seeing this character design that much. The second controversial moment, which is something I wanted to touch on more, was when they talked about changing the male and female versions of characters to Type A and Type B. Now I believe this is for the main protagonist. I haven't played Dragon Quest III, but I believe in the original game you can change the main character, your protagonist, into either male or female versions. That's actually really cool, and especially at the time, that must have been really revolutionary. But in this game, it's Type A or Type B, which that's all it is. It's just the name change. I'm sorry, but this is kind of dumb to me. I completely agree with Horii on this one. He says, quote, "I really wonder who's even complaining about this," referring to the change from genders to A and B types. This should not be controversial, but in today's world, it unfortunately is. Your personal opinions on gender aside, male and female options in video games should be a standard. This whole Type A, Type B naming is very strange, because the characters are obviously either masculine or feminine. Almost like those are the only two options.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
It definitely seems like this was also to appeal to the Western audience. I mean, we can tell that both of these guys are not a fan of both of these changes, and it's understandable why. Having to cater to different countries and censor your games accordingly could be frustrating, I can only imagine. I highly suggest watching the whole video for yourself if you can find it online, as there are some interesting insights as to what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite video games. I can only imagine all the hoops it would take to release some of these games, and I do not envy them one bit. I will say that while I do not like this Type A, B naming convention, it's not going to stop me from playing the game. I'm sorry. I have been a Dragon Quest fan since Dragon Quest IX, and I have been waiting to play Dragon Quest III for a very long time. My excitement is through the roof for this game. The visuals, the music, everything looks so dang good. It's just a shame that Dragon Quest got mixed up in this kind of news. Let me know your thoughts down below. Does this censorship bother you, or do you not really care? Like I said, these two decisions don't make or break the game for me, but I thought it'd be worth discussing these changes. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. God bless.